Hey guys, it's the local realtor here that drives the Bat Caddy here in the greater Seattle area. I'm doing another video review for you. If you don't remember my last video, I reviewed the Tesla style screen, which I absolutely love. But today I'm reviewing the process, not just the unit, but the process of swapping from the analog clusters that come into these base models and some of the V Sports of our CTSs for the Generation 3 CTS for the premium version, which is a digital LCD screen. If most of your cars are like the analog that I had, where it was analog clustering gauges, and it was just a very small square box down there that actually had digital information, I swapped this in for what comes into the premium models of our cars, the full LCD display. So let me turn it on for you so you can take a look at it. Show you it booting up here. I have it in performance mode, which is my favorite mode. Check it out. That's what I have as the background when I boot up on the Tesla screen. Okay, so this is performance mode. The reason why I love performance mode is it shows everything that I want to see. I want to see my this is just how I have it set up. There's actually a bunch of different modes that you can select. I think 4 different modes. This is by far my most favorite. So it shows me obviously my miles per hour, but also digital right there if I want to be lazy. It shows me the speed limit. I like to know that one. I like pairing that with that guy right there. And then vehicle info, fuel range, all that good stuff. Basically, it's the perfect setup. And that comes the stock layout in performance mode. So I actually would not change anything. This has everything that I'd want from it. But you can switch to a couple of other different modes if you wanted to. So you go over here and go to settings and then display layout. Here, let me show you simple. I don't like this one. It kind of reminds me too much of my old one. But there's enhanced. Some people might like the enhanced mode. Gives you a lot of info. These 3 regions right here, 1, 2, 3, those are all customizable in enhanced mode. I'm going to go back to what's this one? Simple, balanced. Here's balanced. This was my favorite mode at first until I figured out performance. Pretty nice. And then I'll go back to performance. So basically these are all customizable in here. Check them out, but it can give you a lot more info, and it's so cool. I don't know if you guys saw that boot up. So this probably isn't going to be as popular of a thing for people to do. The barrier to entry is more than doing the Tesla swap or the Tesla radio swap from the Q. There's a lot more steps that you have to take. Well, I guess not a whole lot more, but like the Tesla screen, I was not into the idea of swapping it myself. But of course, I also hired a buddy of mine, a company, to swap this and install it for me. So here's some of the steps that you have to take if you would consider doing this. It's going to be a lot easier to find or to program this. If you want it programmed 100% working for your car, your Cadillac, your model, you're going to want to buy the unit new. It's going to be more expensive to program. If you buy a used one, it's probably going to be harder to find. Now, if you go that route, it might be cheaper overall because the unit itself, if you find it used, might work out to being cheaper to buy the unit itself for you. Anyways, notice how I show my mileage down here. If you don't get this unit programmed, you could direct plug and play, but you're not going to show any mileage. Which, to legally have it done, it needs to show the accurate mileage on there. I'm not an expert in that field, but that's what I found out. I wanted the mileage to be there so I can continue to service this vehicle and not have to pull out this cluster if I wanted to resell this later down the road, which I don't plan on doing anytime soon. So the steps I took, I looked online everywhere to find, there's a lot of GM part stores online, and most of them have like a catalog that you'll look through, and it's really confusing to figure out which which one of these screens actually will work for your car and would actually be an LCD screen, because their catalogs. Oh, I'm picking up someone on the radar detector. So where was I? Okay, so basically really hard to figure out what one of these to go with as step one, because if you want to do it the hard way that I did, where it was like I just wanted the exact version that they put in the premium version of the exact model and year of my car, that's the route I took. So took the longest to be able to find the right exact cluster based off of the my car's VIN and the part number. I worked with I probably talked to like 30 different online stores till I found someone that was competent enough to do some research for me and figure out which one was the right one. I know some people have Frankenstein some like XTSs or Escalade ones and put them into their car, and but just so you know, they're not going to fit exactly. I've been hearing that people are doing it on the ATS. I actually have a cool guy on Facebook that I'm friends with put in a CTS V cluster into his ATS. I don't know if he has a V or not, but he had to cut into his dash. So that's another thing I was avoiding. I didn't want to modify the dash at all. I wanted it to be a perfect fit, and hence why I am doing this, went this route basically. So some people, they'll put their XTS ones in, but then if you look very closely, it won't actually fit perfectly like this one does. There'll be gaps. So I figured for myself, I wanted to do this right, so I did it this way. Okay, so the steps are: step one, find an online parts store that will actually sell you the unit. Apparently a lot of them are claiming, I don't know how much of this is true or not, but they have it dealership locked, where GM says that they can't give you the cluster unless you go to a dealership. But then the dealerships tell you that they can't sell them. I talked to one dealership, and he didn't think you could do this because he wasn't aware that you can program these to work for your car. So anyways, the second step is, after you buy one of these, is to get it programmed. So I do know a programmer. I'll put it in the comment section, but basically and the reason why I'm doing that is I can never remember what their name is. I'm gonna botch it in this video, but I think it's White Automotive Services, but it's definitely not right, so I'm gonna put in the correction with a link on where their website is. But they're based out of California. They're awesome. Chris White is the owner. They do a fabulous job. This was awesome. It works perfectly. So again, the reason why it's so important to do that is so you can get the mileage and all the other features to work. So mileage right there, you know. Yeah, and then, the third step would be to find someone that knows how to swap these out and install it if you don't want to do it yourself. So those were the steps I took. 3 steps. This journey has probably been a 3-week journey from the moment. Well, it's probably been a month because it took a whole week to research. Took about a week from ordering the part with the right part store to get it sent to my programmer. Took a couple of days for my programmer to get it programmed, and then, for my installer. So, if you're not looking to do any of this yourself and you want it all done for you, probably expect this to be like a 3-week project. Reach out to me if you want to know the specific parts store that I got this from. They were awesome over there. I think they're called GM Parts House, but again, I'll confirm and put that in the description as well. So I hope this guys has helped. I'll do this one more time just so you can check it out. I'm gonna turn it off here. I can't remember if I mentioned, but it does dim. So that feature, it retains all my factory features, so it's only added some features and just the cool display layout from what I had when I first, or when I swapped it from my digital cluster. So turn it back on here, getting a good look there. This thing's awesome. Anyways, that's it, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. This is a little bit more simple video than the Tesla style screen was. Not as much to obviously talk about because it's not like it's Android where I can show anything on here, but I think it's cool. So I guess bottom line, if I'm trying to give a review These aren't rating reviews, but I thought it was definitely worth it. So if you're someone that wants this, it's going to be pricier than the Tesla screen, but it's awesome. So if you're someone that really was like, I need to do this, and you don't have any crazy budgetary restrictions, you can get this done for, under $1,000. If you could probably get it done for a lot cheaper if you do most of it yourself. So clusters are like $600 to get the right one. This one does not, I'm sorry, I chose to not get the heads-up display. This cluster does have the compatibility though, so if I ever wanted to pay for the heads-up display unit that swaps out from that simple red dot beeps that I'm sure most of you have as well, I could swap that as well. From what I've been told by the programmer, that should just be a complete plug and play, and it should start working and show up as an option in here. But I think that's it. Again, let me know if you have any questions. Sure would love to help you. I think it's really awesome. I'll do one more, show you what the full effect looks like when I show you both unit here. So let's close the door, zoom out a little. Let's see here. Okay. You ready? Start up. Sweet, guys. Take care.